we quickly check. Let's see let's see whether I'm like yet. Right. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. It seems that you got some. Yeah, you got some. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Yeah, as long as it's live, I'm pretty content that it's live. So yeah, let's quickly get started. Um I will quickly go to the HSK, right? And majorly we are just going to have the like a hour string, right? And then yeah, I'm out of here. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that will work. So basically, it's about HSK. We did not spend a lot of time on the HSK, so I think, well, why not, right? So let's spend a little bit of time on that, and also to dive a little bit deeper into the after curriculum stuff, right? And yeah, basically that's it, right? That's it. So yeah, let's change input method. I think input method is Japanese somehow. Yep. So okay, can I got some? Okay. Let's get started. Let's just get the curriculum here, so I can see more clearly. I got another screen on here, so it's e-ink, so it will be so much more clear and eye friendly, because I like I work as a programmer, so I look at screen all the time, and I don't want my eyes get too strained to do the actual reading, because I really love to read books. Right, so let's continue. So let's look at the extra curriculum stuff, right? So basically, in the HSK, we got tons of notes that we need to go through, and I think I already covered that because it's so important. Okay, but things is already there. It's called interrogative pronoun. Let's quickly review that. So basically, interrogative pronoun is, as the name suggests, is a pronoun that when you do the in like interrogative thing. Okay, so that's called 几, right? 几. Okay, so basically you use that to ask about the number, how many, how much. Okay, and most of the time you use that when the numbered amount is not too much, right? So for example, the curriculum example is that 你有几个汉语老师 right? 你有几个汉语老师 right? 你 you 有 all 义务 so as here 有几个 right 汉语 Chinese Han's language 老师 teacher 老师你有几个 you have how many 几个 right how many Chinese Mandarin Chinese teacher okay so as I said this is for the interrogative that means that you're asking a question and how many English teachers do you have how many Chinese teachers do you have okay so as I said this is just for how many how much usually is not too much okay the general rule of thumb is starting from 1 all the way to 10 that's approximately the number that you're expecting so you use that okay 几个 and at the notes in the HSK it said that 李老师家有几口人 right 李木子李 right 李老师家有几口人 okay it's really interesting 李木子李木 the tree 子木子李sorry okay really cold I just got like one close yeah so it's a common family name right so 木子李 and 我姓李 right this is like my family name is called Li and other people will ask what kind of Li and then most of the time it's like you add that when you say that you got a family name of Li, right? And you say 木子李 Mu is like the tree and 子 is like the sun, right? So 木子李 that's the okay. 老师 right? Teacher, we already said. 家 is like home, right? So home 家有几口人 have 有没有 okay 不是不有 a lot of students say it's 不有 no adding 不 like 不要 don't want it 不要 right but 不有 is wrong right 没有 you should use this 没有 have 没 or 义务语没有 okay 没有 means that you don't have it right 有没有几口人 right so here 几 also is how many people right how many people do you have in your home right so 李老师 that's the teacher Li 老师 is teacher Li is the family name 木子李 right 李老师家 home house home right 有 have 几口人 okay so this G here is just how many but here is the thing 几口人呢is pretty textbook okay so normally that's where I add value right so normally you say that you know 几个人啊几个人 for example 几个人来啦For example, you just held a party and you ask you know, how many people came, okay? 几个人 right? Normally, we don't say 几口人 unless you are doing some like consensus, something like that. Right? It's like you're doing the statistic and you want to ask exactly what kind of people, how many people this household has. That's for 几口人 like a mouse, right? But when you count people in the house, it's like 几口. But normally, you can use this and you can use this with 口 interchangeably. When you replace the 口 with 个, that's okay, but you don't replace 个 with 口 right? So 几个人来了 how many people 几个人 so basically 个 is a 量词 for 人一个人两个人个 can be a lot of things 量词 right? But yeah specifically 几个人for example 几本书 right? 本书几本书 right? 本 is like when you count the book, you use that 几本 for counting the book 几本书量词 not just 几书 right? So 几 is for how many books do you have 你有几本书 you 你有 you have 你有 originally it's like 你有 but 你有 because you don't want to like go third tone it's too much so you just say 你有几本书 right? How many books do you have? So that's G for 数量多少 okay? And for the notes let me just combine this together since we already finished with the 用法一 right? So it's just like 你 you right? 女儿 that's your daughter 女儿 right? 女 right? 女儿你女儿 your daughter 几岁了sorry 岁 is like the mountain top and then here 你女儿几岁了岁 is when you count how many years old right so 一岁 that means 1 year then the 几岁 is like how many years if you look at that this is like a mountain and then this like 夕阳西下 right 夕阳 so this is like the sunset like you know sun setting right so change that 夕阳 sun right so 夕阳 is like this sunset so if you look at that this is a mountain this is like sunset that's like a 1 year okay you got a little philosophical about it so 你女儿几岁了 that's how many years old is your daughter right so yeah that's about the 几用法一 but we got so much more let me quickly look at the voice and beside 几口 okay the voice is pretty good so yeah so there's a pass let's continue right the following 用法二 is not mentioned in the curriculum notes so it's some supplements that I provide for you okay and for me I think is kind of like textbook as well as a written Chinese so we call not 几 but rather we call that 鸡 okay this is not 几 but when you write it it's still exactly the same thing right so for example 几乎 almost 几乎 this is almost meaning okay so you don't usually separate that you don't say 几 and 乎 right so you use that as in combination so 几乎我几乎没有听说过这样的事情 right 我几乎 没有听说过这样的事。我 me 几乎 almost 没有有没有 right remember 有 is like have 没有 is haven't right so yeah 我几乎 I almost haven't 听说过 right 听 is like listen 听 listen and 说 are all a 义务听说 right so 听说 is like 听别人说 right listen to other people 我没有听说过 that means I haven't 听说过 is like having in the past right 说过 that means I have said that 听说过 is like I never heard other people said that okay 听说过听 other people 说过 right so basically it's like omission of other people right 我几乎没有听 other people 说过啊 all a 有过这样的事 the thing like this okay 这 is like this 这样 is like the shape right 的是 okay 是 is like the thing that happens so 我几乎没有听说过这样的事 I almost never heard of this thing okay really simple 几乎 okay almost and let's go even deeper into say probability and chance right so it's like 几率 this is a like hard one 几率 okay 几率 so basically 几率 is like a chance the probability you do a thing 1,000 times and it happened once that's the 几率 okay so it's more about the probabilities it's like mathematics and statistics sort of concepts you hardly hear this in everyday conversation unless it's in written or some academic Chinese say that 这件事情发生的几率是1/1000 right this is like 1/1000 this is like 分之1/1000 okay 1/1000 okay this is like 1 divided by 1,000 but 1/1000 okay 1/1000 is this okay 1/1000 right pretty simple so 几乎 almost 几率 probability chance but it's more about the specific configuration of expression so yeah that's another second usage of 几 okay but the tone change the whole meaning and the combination also changed right that's about 疑问代词几 and we expand little bits okay right let's continue and at the notes section we also learn about the numbers below 100 so things we already previously we learned about like 几率 right the probability right 1/1000 right that's 1,000 so we touch a tiny little bit about the number and I think it's a good opportunity for us to learn all about number the Chinese way of saying number is so easy and I think maybe I'm like I'm not a scientist right it's just my personal thoughts okay so maybe it's because how this language is being spoken shaped the way that the language speakers way of thinking thus making them easier to think about something. So for example, the counting number, okay? And the Chinese counting system is so easy. So when you say it, you can see a lot of like the first or second generation immigrants. They speak perfect English, but when they doing the calculation, they're using Chinese because it's just so easy, and they can do things so efficiently. Arguably, this is just my personal opinion. So let me just show you, okay? I think it's so much easier to just for me to show you rather than just boasting how efficient it is, right? So, at the curriculum, there is a table, right? So, and I'm going to just using the just the normal number, the number that you understand, but I'm going to say it in Chinese, okay? So, for example, 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Okay? And I'm going to use in Chinese as well. So 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Okay? That's basically how to count in Chinese. 10, right? And all of the curriculum's numbers below 100, just a series of combination. Okay? So, for example, we got 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10, right? So we got 10, and then we got like 11 and all that. So starting with 10, so you know what? That will be 10. Okay? And then if you want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 and 11. So 11 is 10 and then plus 1. So that will be 11. So basically 10, right? So this is like 10. Let me just get this. 1、2、sorry. 2、3、4、5、6 are all 1、5、6、7、8、9 are all 1、5、so 9、10. Okay? So when you go to 10, it's 10 plus 1. So 11, 11. So basically 11 combination. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then it's just 20. So 20 is 2 times 10. So that will be 20. So you know what? 20. Okay? And then 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You just use 20 and you plus 1, 20 plus 2, 20 plus 3, 20 plus, and all the way 20 plus 10. 20 plus 10 is, you know what, this is like exception here. That's 30. So 30 means 3 times 10. So that's 30. Okay? And then 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. And then 40. So you see what I'm going? You're just using the combination. Come on, it's just a simple combination. 40 and then 50, 60, and then plus all the way 70, 80, 90, and then 100. Okay? That's just a series of combination. Play around. And you just need to use the here, right? 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9， and then 10、20、30、40、50、60、70、80、90、100. Okay? And then if there is a thing that added to that, so for example, let me just give you some random number here. So for example, 54, okay? That is 5. So when you read this, you're just starting from the very left all the way to the very right. So 5, that means is 5个10, so is 50, okay? And then we got here. So basically we finish here and then we look at this. This is a 4. So 4 times a 1, so it's a 个, right? 个位数. So that's 4. So you just combine this together from left to right. That will be 54. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, as simple as that. So I want you to memorize in this chart, or just write this chart yourself, or look at the HSK books chart, and we're going to do tons of practice. All right, let's do the practice. So I'm going to train you like a math genius. Let's do that. So for example, and 8 and I don't know, 20, 30, 35. Okay, yeah, let's write I don't know, 5, 6. Okay, 89. Okay, something like that. All right, so let's quickly do the practice. The start from here. All this is 什么什么十, right? So basically this is like 6, 十位, right? This is 十位. So 6 times 10. So that will be 60, okay? Plus 个位 3. So 3. You know what? 63. As simple as that. Right? So for this, it's 5 times 10 plus 7. So there will be 50. And then 7, 7, right? So 57. So for this, 2 times 10 plus 8. So 28, 8. Okay? This will be 3 times 10 plus 5. So 35. Okay? This will be 8 times 10 plus 9. So 89. Okay? As simple as that. So, you know what? You learn a little bit about Chinese, but also you learn how they can do the math so quickly, because when you say it, it's just composed using the, simple mathematics to say things. And it's so easy. It's so consistent rule. It's not like, French, or I know this. I don't speak French, but I heard that their language, like mathematics, is like crazily difficult and not consistent. So they decompose the number in a not a consistent way, so that makes things so hard. But this is just so easy, just using the table, using the combination, and decompose the number. Okay, yeah. That's about the numbers below 100. Yeah. All right. So we're going to also talk about le. Okay. This is a thing that's starting from HSK level 1 all the way to 6 and beyond, because it seems like, pretty easy one, and I don't even need to read it and stress it, read it aloud, but it's so important, and it can get a different hint when you say something. So that's very, very important. Let me show you. So in the HSK curriculum, they say that indicating a change, right? So basically, 了用于句末, that's the end of sentence. 句末, 句子, right? That's sentence. 句子, that's a sentence. But you get rid of this and say 句末, oh, this is a way. We're going to use 句末 more this way. Okay, 句末 more is the end of sentence. 句末 Okay, so using this as the end of sentence to indicate a change. Okay, so the curriculum example is like 李老师. Why is it called 李老师? Why every time it's 李老师? Okay, for me, I'm a 王老师, right? Wang. And this is called Wang. I know a lot of 老师 called 王老师. This is called first time, Wang. Okay? 老师, teacher. I don't want to write this. I write tons of pinyin. Okay? 李老师. Okay, just a different family name. Okay, different family name. And then we continue. 多少岁了, right? 今年 like right now, this 年 is like year. This year 多少岁呢? 50岁了 50 How to say that? 50 50, right? 5 times 10, so 50 50. For example, 55呢? 50 plus 5, so 55. Okay, you don't need to say the plus, you just say 55. Okay, 55. Okay, really, really simple. 55岁了 Okay, 岁 that's like year. But you know, 了 used at the end of a sentence to say, well, that indicated a change. So, oh, it's changed to 15 years old. And it's already changed. It's already done. So basically kind of like completed, finished, happened. Kind of like that. It's like, oh, it happened, it changed, and then to this year's. Okay? Yeah, I think we already mentioned that also earlier. So this is like a quick review, but I also want to expand this a little bit. That's the reason we add this, and we can give you so much more rather than just you know, purely on this you know, the book and all that. Okay, you know what I mean. I don't want to just complete repetition of all this curriculum stuff, right? So let's continue. Like 我朋友的女儿今年4岁了 My friend's daughter this year is like 4 years old. It's kind of boring, right? 你的女儿几岁了 is just asking, but I want to show you more, right? 吃 This is my example, by the way. Okay, I want to add value rather than just repetition because it's boring and silly. Okay, 吃 Let's eat. That's me. Let's start with this very simple example. 我 right? That's me. 我吃 weird, huh? A lot of like beginning in starting Mandarin Chinese that 我吃 is still lacking something. Even though in Chinese there's like no specific indicator, not strong indicator of tense, like past tense, you know, have done, had done, right, something like that. But there's some slightly hint that you can hint some sort of a tense. For example, this is a very perfect example. If you're lacking for native speaker, it's just for native speaker when they add things naturally. But if you say that without this, that it will feel weird for native speaker. So 我吃 that means yeah, I eat, but you won't say I ate, right? So 我吃 is like 我正在吃. It can be like I'm eating, or I have ate, right? Like ate. I'm more lean towards this like a past tense. Okay, 你吃了吗? 我吃了. Okay, you just add a le at the end of the sentence to indicate I eat, and then I change it, become I ate, so become a past tense. Okay, I ate, 我吃了 means 吃这件事情完成了。It's like I already finished eating. Okay, so if you look at that and compare that, like 55 years old, it's like you changed that. You finished changing the year, changing how old you are to 55 years. Okay, 我吃了. Okay, I ate. And let's also look at another example. Like for example, buy, 买 buy 他男他 right? Remember 男他 he 买 say 书 book 他买书 he buy book. Okay, but I don't want to say he buy book. I want to add a little bit tense, like he bought books. How to say that? 他买了书。他今天干嘛去了？他买了书去了。他去买书去了。他买了书。You can also say 他买了书，他散了步，他回来了。Okay, so basically this is a thing that happened in the past. So you're using adding a little bit. 他买了书 that means he bought. Like he bought books. Right? Bought. You want to stress this, 买了. Okay? So, yeah, I think you have to have a little bit a feeling about this. Is more about, it's not about past tense, but rather it's like I finished this action. 买了，吃了. I finished that certain action. Whereas buy or eat, I already finished. This is more like the 完成, okay? I think it's more focused on 完成, okay? 完成, finish, okay? And of course, for these like 55 years old, you add that, I think, at the end of the sentence to indicate that something changed. Okay, it's more about change. Okay, so that's the reason. Like, 今年55岁了, like, and 今年4岁了, right? So 我的朋友女儿, my friend's daughter, 今年4岁了, all that. That's also indicated change. And you can also feel a sense of the change is already finished, right? Has changed. Now it's different. Okay, and so let me just give you more example, because I think in the textbook 李老师今年50岁了我的朋友女儿今年4岁了女儿几岁了 is more about the new things happens. Also, you can sort of feel that something changed. Also, you can feel that something have already been done. Okay, so it's like all the things mixed up. But let me just give you one more example. So just leave you a little bit challenge here. So for example, 下雨. Okay, outside is raining. You can say, oh, 下雨了. Okay, 下 means going down. 上下. 上 means going up. 上 下 is going down. Okay, 上下. So 下雨了 is like going down. 雨 is like rain. 下雨了. Okay, 下雨了. So is it about the finished, like the rain has already rained? It's not like that, right? So is it? Well, it's about to change, right? So you know what? Even though it seems like a little bit outstretched, but you know what? 李老师今年55岁了 and 下雨了. These two are the same. Okay? Why is that? Because previously is not raining, but it's raining now. So it's like a new situation, new scenario, something's different. Now it's different, situation has changed. So you use le at the end of the sentence. Okay? So it's not about tense at here, but more about the change. Okay? For example, I got a really naughty kids, and if they're if he's like angry and he's like eating and he's angry, he say, "Oh, 我不吃了." Right? So 吃 eat, 我 me, right? I, right? 我不吃is like, you know, there is like, for example, there's like some, I don't know, some sushi, I don't know, or rice, doesn't really matter. Okay? So if there's a thing that someone gives it to you, and I say, yeah, I'm you know, I don't want to eat that, right? We can say 我不吃，我 me 不 negative, right? 吃 eat, that means I don't want to eat it. Okay? So they give it to you, you say, yeah, 我不吃，我不吃，我不吃。Yeah, 别客气，我不吃，我不吃。Okay? Thank you. I don't want to eat. But if you already, like this is you, right? You are eating pretty happily. This is some rice. I don't know. You're eating happily, right? And then suddenly, I hit you and you hate me, right? And then you become angry. And then you throw this away. And then I add 我不吃了. Okay? 我不吃了. I'm not eating. I am 我不 not 吃 eating 了. I think, yeah, if you have to find the direct translation, it's more about I'm not eating anymore. I am eating all the time before you hit me, right? I was eating, but right now I'm not eating anymore because I hate you. You hit me. Yeah. So you can sort of see this can be indicating of change or occurrence of new situation or something change. Okay? That's adding this. You can sort of hit here, you can sort of feel the like nuances here. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, that's all about le. And at the curriculum, there is a interrogative phrases like 多大. I think it's like a fixed usage cases, like how old and how big, right? Yeah, but I think we need to expand this a little bit because I think there's still some of the things that we can play around and add it to it. So yeah, let me drink and finish this. Right. Let's continue. The next language points of the notes is the interrogative phrases 多 many, right? But you plus 大 多 are all 一物, so 多大 多大 how big, Okay, and the first we need to finish what's already been said about the about this in the curriculum, and then I'm going to add so much more, right? So this is interrogative phrases 多大 most of the time it's used about to ask one's age, right? So for example, 你多大了？你多大了？ But if you look at that, 你多多or you. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. Sorry about that. This is called 的 or 多. Sorry, or you. Sorry, just erase this tiny little bit. 多大了, right? 你多大了? And if you look at that, most of the time, it's about the you know asking the kids, right? Because yeah, if you think about this, it's kind of not so polite to ask 你多大了, right? So if you ask kids, it's okay. If you ask adults, 您多大年纪了? 您高寿, something like that. But 您多大了? 你多大了? It's it's weird. It's just weird for native speaker. So 你多大了 just how old are you, right? How old are you? 你多大? 你多大了? This 了 you can sort of say that it's a kind of new situation because you changed the age. That's a new situation, right? But let's continue. And the second example is 你女儿今年多大了? It's more makes sense because 女儿 maybe little young kids, and you ask kids about right 你女儿今年多大了 this year. 李老师多大了？您多大年纪了？I think that's for example 李老师多大年纪了？年纪 or 年let me quickly. I think this is more respectable way, right? 李老师 we write this countless time, 李老师, so I'm not going to give you the pinyin. But 多大 we just write it down. This is 年纪年纪多大年纪 This is a respectable way to say like 多大岁数多大岁几岁 right? So 岁数多大岁数 You can also say 岁数多大岁数 Okay? 多大年纪李老师多大年纪了 Indicating a change le at the end of the sentence, right? Yeah, that's the curriculum, but I'm going to add so much more. So the 多大 is not just asking about age. You got so much more, because you can just literally say 多大 right? 这个房子有多大 This house, how big is this house, right? 这个房子 this house, 这个 or I think you can make it like a 这个 okay, 轻声这个 and then 房子 that's the house, right? So 房 we got like 方 right? Below this is like 户 户 is like 一户两户三户 it's like household, and here is like a 方 right? So combine them together. Let me just there will be 房子 right? 房子车子票子三子 right? 房 is like house. This is like the car as well as 票子 like in the money. The dosh, right? This is like the most three important thing in man's life. Yeah, like this is just some joke because it's just so funny because we all got like a 字 at the and so 房子车子票子 so it's like tongue twister, right? So 这个房子 right? 这个房子 and then you know what? 多大 you can use it here. 多大 how big? You should 多 is like how. 大 is like a big. Come on. 大 big wolf. 大灰狼 right? 大房子 is like a house. 这个房子多大 You literally just asking how big is this house. Okay? 这个桌子多大 You just change here. 房子 you change that say 桌子 right? 桌子好 or you sorry about that. I think it should be here. 这个桌子 This table. How big is the table? 桌子有多大 Okay? So basically it's like literally asking about the 尺寸 the size. Okay? So 尺寸尺 is like a ruler. So for example, something like this. You got like this is like some ruler, you know? Or, you know, at school we got like a ruler like this, right? Basically we got right? This is like 尺子, right? 寸 is a 寸尺寸 Okay, 尺 is like the tool for measurement and 寸 is the unit of measurement. So 尺寸 is just the size. It's just a representation of size. 尺寸 for example 体积 Okay, 体积 is like just 3D. Right? That's the volume of things. 体积 or I don't know 面积 Okay, still is about 积 but it's a 面 So 面积 is more about the size. So it's more about the 2D. Okay, just how big this I don't know 面积 the house how big is the house 这个房子多大sort of indicate that 这个房子的面积有多大 Okay, so yeah, that's the second usage about 尺寸 about 面积 about 体积 You can just literally use 这个房子多大 how big Yeah. And lastly, this 大 can also be a like philosophical sort of a big. So for example, 问题 You ask me a question 是 yeah, that's 问题 Okay, ask 问 is ask 题 is like the you know the yeah, it's like a task quiz question, right? So 问题 is more about you ask the question. So literally is about the problem. 问题 For example, it's like a serious problem. You want to know how serious is the problem. Okay? So you can say 问题有多大多 plus 大 How big 有 have 有多大 That means have how big The problem How serious is the problem So basically how serious is more about 意义 It's not 直译If you 直译 If you translate directly It's more about the problem is how big How big is the problem How seriously is the problem Okay, so this 多大 is about the 程度 the degree 程度 is more about degree about how serious 有多严重的影响 how serious is the impact of it right 问题有多大 ？You can change that to say 影响有多大？影响 very difficult Chinese, right? 影 like shadow 响 it's like sound bong, right? Shadow plus bong, that's the impact. Okay, so impact for us. So how serious, how big is the impact? 这个东西，这个问题影响有多大？问题有多大？ How big is the impact? Affect other people. 影响。Okay, so that's the three integrated phrases of 多大, right? How big? Not just about the age, like introduced in the HKS level 1 books, notes, but rather it also can be about the physical size or about the problem and impact. Okay? Yeah, that's all, I think. For today's stream, I streamed for how long? Oh, nearly 1 hour, which is perfect. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. And also I got a bootcamp of let me just check this. I got a bootcamp of Chinese as well as Japanese. So if you are interested, you can check this out. I'm going to send all this in the chat if you're still there, right? Subscribe to the channel, and if you want to learn things more systematically, you can click the link in the chat. Okay, so yeah, and thanks everybody, and I got work to do. Okay.